Hi YouTube, it's Miranda Crossing, and today I'm going over my top 5 video suggestions for Springcore. So Springcore is an iron core that I recommend being very seasonal, because if you're thinking about it, we're literally in February now, but it won't be long until we're into March, because February can be like one of those shortest months because it only has 28 days in them. But every 4 years we always get 29, which is a leap year. Well, this year isn't a leap year, so when it comes to March, I think you might want to start applying your Springcore irons before that. So I recommend starting it early before that sort of stuff. So let's get into the video, shall we? For our first video suggestion, we have Molly. Well, Molly gives me those neutral Springcore vibes only because of her kind of look, because she's supposed to be assembling a female mallet duck, which is, you can tend to see them in springtime sometimes, but you always see the odd different ducks throughout the year, so they're always around all year round, depending on what type of season it is. But I was kind of thinking, when it comes to Springcore, I was thinking the first animal you probably would see would be maybe a duck, squirrel, maybe a few others, maybe like a deer or something. But I'm kind of thinking whatever comes to mind when it comes to Springcore would be very very natural and very realistic in that stuff when it comes to that, you know what I mean? Let's get to our next video suggestion, shall we? So for our next video suggestion, we have Callie. Well, Callie is a squirrel. When it comes to spring, squirrels come back from hibernation, and so does the plants, the trees, and everything starts to brighten up a bit. And plus we get out the cold weather as well. So there's a lot of things that spring brings with it, and also a few events that comes with it as well, for example Easter and all that stuff. So if you're thinking about doing a Springcore island, I'll recommend Callie, because if you're thinking about making a treetop house but only for Callie, that'd be very suitable for Springcore, because then you can experiment with different Springcore builds. For example, making a treetop area, but it looks like it's surrounded by trees because squirrels like trees. And for ducks, you can make a pond. For example, you could have a little neighbourhood with all of them next to each other, for example. So there's a lot of things you can do with Springcore, and it's definitely the best iron core, I must say. So for our third suggestion, we have Azalea. Well, Azalea's actual name comes from a real life flower that you tend to see throughout the seasons. But I'm kind of thinking if it's everything to do about a flower, that's why I saw it on Daffodil when Fleurs started making a Springcore island. I think she might have started doing it probably earlier 2022 or was it 2021? I think it might be 2021 actually, thinking about it, because when it comes to looking at her actual island, there was a lot of Springcore villages. In particular, she did use Goldie. She used a lot of different ones that kind of fit the actual vibe. But when it came to Azalea, I thought, yeah, she would obviously fit because of her actual name and meaning. So it makes a lot of sense. If you're going to have Azalea on your islands, then you might as well, because if her name means a flower, it kind of fits in with the Springcore vibe a little bit more, although she's a rhino, etc. So let's get to the next video suggestion, shall we? For our fourth video suggestion, we have Vesta. So when it comes to Springcore, I was thinking about having Vesta as a Springcore video, only because according to my thumbnail I had to plonk her on there, because Vesta kind of gives me Springcore vibes, because one thing, she's a sheep, and when it comes to Springcore, you tend to see more farm animals come back out when it comes to spring, because spring's more of a colourful and more vibrant kind of season. It's when all the flowers come back, and of course it gets warmer and we're out of the cold weather and that stuff. And I was thinking Vesta kind of gives me that sort of vibe, because she kind of fits in with the Springcore vibe a little bit more because of her kind of semi-neutral colours. So if you're thinking about doing Springcore and you want to have Vesta on your Springcore violin, I recommend it. Let's see who we can get next, shall we? So for our last video suggestion, we have Bones. Well, He is a dog villager, but I was thinking about heavily on his semi-neutral colours again, only because neutral and obviously villagers that have names that reference the flowers can also fit in with the Springcore vibe a little bit, because sometimes you tend to see a lot of neutral colours and also a lot of villagers that have like names that reference themselves to flowers when it comes to Springcore. But I was thinking it'd be also quite handy to have bones as well as a villagers to be on the list as well, but sometimes it is quite hard to find specific Springcore villagers if you can't find them, because if someone did like a village suggestion video on how to do Springcore villagers, then we could easily pick them out. But for me, I had to think very carefully which villagers could actually fit in with Springcore, so I really tried my hardest to find which ones they were, but at least we found 5 that were quite handy in the end. So let's get to the end of the video, shall we? Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this video today. So I was kind of thinking to myself, when it comes to Springcore, there aren't a lot of options of villagers that you can actually go for. So for example, I had to really think deeply which villagers that I could possibly go for. For example, ones that had neutral colours and ones that had names with references to either flowers and that stuff. So it was pretty hard for me to figure out which villagers that I wanted to put on my village suggestion video today, but at least I tried my best at least, okay? Make sure you leave a like on this video. If you're new to my channel and see more of my content, please subscribe to a variety of content you might enjoy. Might involve Animal Crossing content and Beatopia content. So what we'll be doing for next week is that I'm going to stick with my 3-day schedule, but it might be a different kind of step of videos. So for example, I might not be doing my Beatopia Let's Play series that week, but I might be able to do it over the weekend or something, so stay tuned for that. Also turn notifications for further Animal Crossing and Beatopia content for me. So bye for Animal Crossing, I'll see you next time. So bye.